Hey, everybody. My name is Michael McDowell. It's great to be with you today. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about what can we do in our professional learning communities to take some of this rigor redefined work and actually look at evidence, determine what to do with that particular evidence, and then bring that back into practice, implement that work, and then go back again and inspect our impact. And I think we can do this through four simple steps. And it's all associated with four key questions: need it, see it, start it, and show it. Need it. The idea is, what's the most compelling challenge for us right now? And one way that we could start to answer this question is to look at a little bit of evidence around some of those habits, those dispositional habits or those competency-based habits. So we might say we're collecting a little bit of evidence and we're just finding that students are not developing the level of clarity that we'd like to see, or that students are assigning more blame to themselves individually when they're receiving feedback. And we might want to work on navigating challenge, or we're finding that students just aren't doing that daily practice to consolidate their learning. Or it might be around some of those competency-based habits that we're not seeing that deep level learning or that transfer level learning that we might want to see. So we really start with that need it, and we hone in on maybe one particular habit that we want to focus in on. Number two is see it. What would be that observable change that we would see in a short duration of time? So it might be 3 weeks, it might be 4 to 5 weeks. What would be that change that we want to see? And what are those small doable practices? So it might be that using a silent protocol, or the turn and talks that we might look at that deep level learning. That may be where we start. And then what we can do is we can start to lay out, okay, well, in 3 weeks, our students could use full sentences and full sentences with conjunctions, or students might be developing a higher level of understanding what they're learning versus what they're learning it through, or what we call to and through strategy. That's what we might be able to see in 3 to 6 weeks, and seeing if that's realistic. The third question is then, how would we start it? How do we make this small and doable? How do we make it consistent? How do we stack it to something we already do? How do we make sure we don't add too much? How do we sprint this, where we might only do this in one class or in one section, or one discipline, as opposed to trying to scale it to everything? And that's really important, that when we start something, we want to make sure we want to stay small, and we want to stay focused, and we want to go slow so that we can go far, go fast later on. And then how are we going to show that back to our team in a few weeks once we start to implement this work, which is that show it question. So one of the things that you can do as a team is answer those four questions: need it, see it, start it, and show it. What's compelling? What's going to be that observable change in a few weeks? How can I make this small and doable for me and for my students and for this team? And then how would we show our progress over time at the end? By doing that kind of work, we can actually make the professional learning community process more about a process, and associate with more of our learning, kind of that action research element, which I think staff will find more engaging over time. Thanks, everybody.